Super Mario 3D World. What a mixed bag of a game. Just as a spoiler, I think this is a great game. One of the top 5 in the series, though of course I'm saying that before playing Wonder. I will also say though, I don't think this is the best way to play this game. For one, the Switch port includes an entire separate game, which even though I'm not going to give it a full review of its own, I can say it's a ton of fun. Also, that version has a ton of quality of life improvements, new moves that don't mess with the game flow, and I think runs a little bit better. Plus, it's not on the Wii U.
3D World was designed to be accessible and intuitive, as well as creative and fun. It's sort of a follow-up for the new Mario series, as well as obviously being a sequel to 3D Land. According to Yoshiaki Koizumi, the developers went all out inserting elements to let players further enjoy these sprawling environments.
Yes, I'm so bad at talking about development history, I'm quoting developers directly. I'm a genius.
I'm gonna be honest, the title doesn't make a ton of sense here. Sure, the 3D Land title was fairly generic, but it kind of fit. It's like Mario Land in terms of being portable, but it's 3D in both gameplay and visuals because of the 3DS. 3D World, meanwhile, is a 3D platformer, like Mario 64, Sunshine, and both Galaxy games. Apparently there were plans for the game to still have 3D visuals, but they were scrapped so they wouldn't have to worry about 3D glasses. Ultimately, it's not a huge deal. The title just means it's a sequel to 3D Land. Don't think about it too much.
Don't worry, I never think much at all.
So, this is the first HD Mario game that isn't, new you, and it looks great when you're not looking at the gamepad. Yeah, the Wii U does great graphics in general, but the gamepad screen is 480p, darker than the TV output, and just generally kinda not a great screen. Still, on a TV screen or a Switch, this game looks amazing, if not terribly unique. It's a very clean Mario art style, basically the epitome of the presentation Nintendo went for during the Wii U era. I know a lot of people really hate this style, and I can understand why, but I still like it a lot. I think it looks great, even if it is a bit smooth. And even if you don't like the graphics, you have to admit, this soundtrack is the bomb. Seriously, it's so jazzy while still keeping the variety of the Galaxy games. It's the kind of soundtrack that rocks so hard you just have to dance to it.
Assuming you can dance. I can't.
So the story here is fairly different from usual, but I think I can still summarize everything in just one sentence. Bowser kidnaps 7 fairy princesses from a different kingdom, and now Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Blue Toad need to save them. To be fair, there's a fake out after the 7th world that I missed, but really the fact that there are 8 main worlds instead of 7 isn't some big twist these days.
And just for the sake of the timeline, I'm writing that a few days after the Mario Wonder Direct, but over a month before the game launches. $50 says there's secretly an 8th world in that game too.
Well, once we hop into our first level, we get to see what the gameplay is like, and shocker! It's 3D Land again, but the score is back! Like with the console new Mario games, the game offers co-op with up to 4 players, and they do actually use the score somewhat creatively in that mode. Or so I'm told. Yeah, just like with all co-ops games, I'm playing this one solo. No pals around to help me beat the levels, and while this ethically sourced gameplay may make you think otherwise, I almost entirely played as Mario. However, I will give them credit. Unlike new Wii and new you can at least play as characters other than Mario in single player here. And they all have slightly different physics. Mario is the standard and balanced character, Luigi jumps higher and can sort of flutter, but he's slippery and takes longer to get up to a sprint, Toad runs the fastest but has a lower jump and falls quickly, and Peach can float in the air for a while and falls slower but is the slowest runner. There's also an unlockable character in the form of Rosalina, who can use a spin attack which acts as a double jump or an attack, but is tied with Peach in speed and can't spin when she has one of the more active power-ups. It's all pretty interesting, and it's worth giving each of the characters a chance to find your favorite, even if you're a basic bitch like me.
I'm not a very interesting person, why do I have a YouTube channel?
This game has a ton of power-ups, more than I think any other game in the series. We have all the ones from 3D Land, including the Fire Flower, Boomerang Flower, and Super Leaf, which is still nerfed. We even have the Invincibility Leaf back if you die a certain number of times. We also have the returning Coin Box and Propeller Box, which behave the same way as in 3D Land, and of course the Super Mushroom and Superstar. They also include the Mega Mushroom in certain levels, which lets you grow super big and storm around, which does have more uses than in New Mario and New 2. You can break certain blocks, and they use it in very specific levels that are built around the ability. And of course there are the 2 brand new power-ups, the Super Bell and the Double Cherry. The Super Bell is cool, letting you attack enemies on the ground, dive through the air, climb up walls, and even kind of float in the air for a couple seconds. It's surprisingly versatile, and I think it's one of the best power-ups in the series. As for the Double Cherry, man is this tricky to use. It spawns an identical copy of the player character, power-ups and all, and you control both of them at the same time. However, the clones are super fragile, vanishing after only one hit. Technically, both versions of the character have this property, and whichever doesn't get hit by an enemy, that's the main one now, and the other dies.
Oh, sweet! I've been waiting for the existential horror.
Seriously though, it is pretty fun to try and keep as many clones alive as possible, since you can stack double cherries in order to get up to 5 copies of your character, and if you bring them to the flagpole, you get points for disintegrating them in midair. Fun? It's not just the power-ups though. There are new boxes that you can wear on your head, like the cannon box, which shoots cannonballs, or the light box, which can kill boos. There's a Goomba mask, which helps you blend in with some of the enemies. There's a piranha plant you can carry around in a pot that will eat any enemies it gets close to. You can use an ice skate to skate on ice because, duh. If you crouch while holding a green shell, you enter it and can bounce around for a few seconds. The boomerang flower is used a lot more than in 3D land, so you have a reason to keep it on you. There are collectible green stars in every level, but also a stamp in most of them. There are a ton of new enemies to work around, which actually behave differently from other enemies in this series. The mystery box levels from 3D Land are much more fleshed out and are actually interesting to collect green stars in. There are actual brand new bosses that each have different attacks and weaknesses. There are bonus levels where you play as Captain Toad, and these are so good they got their own game, and the whole game is so damn great!
Holy hell, I love this game. I think 3D World is an amazing game. One of the best 3D platformers ever. I don't know if I'd say it's better than, say, 64, especially Galaxy. I enjoyed it a lot, but it's still definitely up there. Obviously, I understand why some people are a bit colder on this game. As great as it isn't what everyone was looking for in the next big 3D Mario game. It's not a sandbox platformer, it's not as imaginative or themed as the Galaxy games, and it's barely even a 3D game. Believe me, I understand why some people were down on this game. I really do. But at the end of the day, I think this is still one of the most well-designed, engaging, and just plain fun games in an already well-designed, engaging, and fun series. I would love to play through this game again. Maybe beat every level as every character. I mean, I already collected every green star and stamp, I might as well. Again though, I think the Switch version is the best version of this game, especially with Bowser's Fury included. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, this wasn't the Mario game they really wanted. That came in 2017.